Also the 10 spies who went into the promised land were poor. Whimperingly they reported, "And there we saw giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers." Numbers 13:33. The man with 1 talent was poor. He buried his talent in the ground. There are a lot of people who do not have the courage really to amount to anything. They're very poor indeed. On the one hand, one might possess a certain cocksureness and yet be very poor. Peter typifies that type of poverty when he says, "Though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended." Matthew 26:33. He was not poor in spirit, yet he was poor, as it was proved when the testing time came. The first key to God's kingdom is another type of poverty. 2 men went up to the temple to pray. One said, "God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are." He listed all his good qualities and was quite satisfied. He had a good eye for himself, a bad eye for his fellow men, and no eye at all for God. The other man prayed, "God, be merciful to me, a sinner." That man may have possessed great wealth. He may have had the courage of a conqueror, but he realized that he lacked something which only God could supply. Luke 18:10 and 13. The poverty which is a key to God's kingdom is the realization that though we possess all things, without God all our things are nothing. My favorite story is of a boy who had received money from his father and had a spirit which made him feel he could conquer the world. In spite of his wealth and his spirit, however, he remained poor until one day he fully realized his real poverty and said, "I will arise and go to my father." Luke 15:18. There is the poverty that makes us rich, the realization of our lack of God and our desire for God. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We sometimes interpret that word blessed to mean happy, but really it means a oneness with God. The poor in spirit have so emptied themselves of themselves, the pride of their accomplishments, the selfishness of their desires, that the Spirit of God has come into their emptiness. We sing, "What a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms." That is it. And what do we mean by the kingdom of heaven? Someone has said, all that religion has to offer is self-denial in this life on the promise of some pie in the sky.